Good job is from Mali Ephraim in the Jordan Valley. I wanted to share teachings from the Kedus Levi, that's Rav Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev, on this week's parsha vayigash. In this week's parsha, Yehuda confronts Yosef concerning Yosef's enslaving Benjamin, since after he had placed his chalice in Benjamin's sack and accused Benjamin of stealing it, which he obviously did not do. Yehuda approaches him and is able to show that to Yosef that through his willingness to replace himself with Benjamin so that Benjamin would not be enslaved, that Yehuda had made teshuvah and Yosef, as a result, was able to share with Yehuda and his brothers that he was in fact Yosef after all these years. So Yosef sends the brothers back to Yaakov in Canaan and instructs him to bring Yaakov back to Egypt so that he could be with him and Yosef could take care of him. And on his way, Yaakov stops in Beersheba and has a dream where Hashem comes to him in the dream and reassures Yaakov that I will go down with you to Egypt and I will also bring you up. Yaakov is rightfully concerned about what's going to happen after living in Yisrael, and he knew that his father Yitzhak had never left Israel actually, and he was concerned that he would be leaving Israel and going down into the land of Egypt. So Hashem reassures Yaakov by saying, I will go down with you to Egypt and I will also bring you up. In the Hebrew, the verb bring up is doubled. It says, A'alcha gam Allah, indicating emphasis. The apparent redundancy in the verb to bring can be explained based on the following principle. When a student is not so bright, the teacher has to condense what is being taught so a student can understand it. When a student is bright, however, the teacher does not have to simplify the material as much. This idea is alluded to in this verse. While living in the land of Israel, Yaakov had been able to serve God with tremendous mental clarity. He was afraid that once he left the land of Israel, his intellect would be diminished, and therefore his divine consciousness would be accordingly diminished, and thus his worship of God would suffer. Accordingly, God promised Yaakov that he would sufficiently reduce his divine flow, meaning that he would simplify divine consciousness by clothing it in terms requiring less intellectual clarity, so that Yaakov could receive it even outside of the land of Israel. This is what the verse means by saying, I will go down with you to Egypt. As it were, God was going to condense himself, that is his light, outside of the land of Israel, for the sake of those serving him there. God then continues, and I will also bring you up, meaning when you return, literally ascend to the land of Israel, you will attain the higher level. And the term you here is actually that's used in reference to Yaakov's return to the land of Israel, refers to Yaakov's offspring, since Yaakov himself never returned to the land of Israel during his lifetime. And this is alluded to by the double usage of the verb to bring up, implying an elevation both for Yaakov and for the Shekhinah itself, as it were. So the second instance of the verb bring alludes to the Shekhinah, intimating that it too would experience an ascent when Yaakov would return to the land of Israel and serve God on a higher spiritual level. So we learn from this that Hashem is always with us. He's with us when we're blessed to be living in the land of Israel, and He's with us when we're not here. But we have different needs when we're in Israel, and we have different needs when we're outside of Israel. And Hashem ensures that we receive the appropriate light that we need when we're in Israel and when we're not in Israel. The other thing to take from this is that we're taught, and it's an important Jewish teaching, Hasidic teaching, that every time we descend, it is for the purpose of an ascent. That even though it may seem dark when we're descending and we don't know where we're going, but it's all for the purpose of the elevation, and for us to rise up and to attain higher levels than we could have without the ascent. So good Shabbos, good Shabbos.